And I am just astonished by this. I constantly see this stuff. It is nuts. Watch this clip. Man vs. Game compares unsubbed viewers to that kid in the comic shop that never buys anything. Okay, here we go. We'll see the guy. There he is. There's the guy. Obviously in a very good mood today. Here we go.
Thank you for the support, guys. I don't know. I think maybe I'll just start doing more like garbage sponsored streams.
So he's clearly not happy with how his stream is going financially.
So that I don't have to shame some chatters in my audience. The vast majority of people who don't sub and watch all the time, it's like you lurk and you get it. People always try to talk to me every day. You're like that shitty kid in the comic book store, in my comic book store, coming in day after day to thumb through the issues and read through all the comics and then put it right back up on the shelf just to leave and then come back the next day.
Yep, there you go.
Thank you for the...
So, I saw this, I was taking a shit, and I saw the title, I'm like, okay, we gotta watch this one on stream. Welcome to the Twitch model. Well, the guy is basically complaining. You see, like, he's actually not complaining about people that are watching without subscribing or anything. He's complaining about people who are chatting without subscribing, because he differentiates the people that are watching, you know how it is, who watch every day, who aren't subbed, that are lurkers. So, like, this is really, like, listen to how he says it.
Of people who don't sub and watch don't have to shame.
I don't have to shame, he's going to say some chatters.
Some chatters in my audience.
So clearly the problem is with some chatters in his audience.
The vast majority of people who don't sub and watch all the time, it's like you lurk and you get it.
So what he's also saying there is that there is clearly a difference between, there are some people who he accepts and is okay that are not spending money for his stream, but they are lurkers. And so the differentiation here is not the money spent, it's the chatting.
People always try to talk to me every day.
There it is. Again. And that's what he's actually saying. He's saying that he doesn't like that people come into his stream who aren't subs and they try to interact with him and talk to him to get his attention, because he feels like he should only give that attention to the people that are subscribed.
You're like that shitty kid in the comic book store.
I don't know why he doesn't just do sub mode. Like, because if you don't like that, you can just have sub mode on, and then nobody who's unsubscribed is ever going to talk because they're unsubbed. So I think that's what makes sense. It seems weird to have a system in the like on the website. It's like, let's say you hate it whenever people call you a window licker. Okay? You hate it whenever people call you a window licker. It makes you so fucking mad. It pisses you off. And you know what you need to do? This is all you have to do. You go into moderation settings. You go into banned words and phrases. And you put window licker in there. And nobody's going to call you that, because it's fucking blocked. So whenever somebody complains about being called something that they could just, or they complain about a problem that they could easily fucking just remove the problem, I'm not very sympathetic. Just put on fucking sub mode. Window licker. No, but you just, the thing is, like, that lasts for like a day though, right? Where like people try to use like different iterations of it, using ones and zeros, and then you just block those, and then after that there's only going to be like 5 or 6 people left that are trying to like get around the filter. You ban them, and then it's over. Like, that's what happens all the time. Like, don't fucking pretend like, oh, the chatters are always going to find a way to get through. No, they're not. Like, you just make it harder to do. It's the same thing I did with like tryhard, for example, right? I blocked tryharder, but it's like, oh, well, people will find another emote to use. No, they didn't. They just stopped doing it. because the meme was try hard. So the harder you make it to do, the less people that are going to do it. And the people that continue doing it, even whenever you make it harder, you ban them, and then that's it. It's not a problem. I've had this thing happen with my stream multiple times. It works extremely well. And so anyway, this is not really the point that I'm making, okay? The point that I'm making, obviously this guy makes himself look like a jackass, etc. People stream for money, and any time that a streamer ever complains about money or really complains about anything, I consider this a mistake. I don't think that you should ever really complain to your chat about how your life is or how unhappy you are or anything like that. Streamers that use their chat as a personal diary, and I think that I've done this before in the past. I think a lot of people have. It's not like I'm some sort of like special fucking saint that never does anything wrong. I've done the same thing, but every single time that I do it or anybody else does it, it's always a bad thing. And I've tried to stop doing it more because the reality is that a lot of people watch streamers and they always envy streamers and they're like, well, I wish I could be in that position. And whenever you see a person who's in a position that you think that you should be in, and if you were in, you would be happy, and then this person isn't happy, it causes you to resent that person. So this is an element of not knowing your audience, not being able to understand like kind of the social nuances of streaming. And because of that, people like this guy make themselves look like assholes because they don't get the social structure that streaming has created. Also, nobody ever likes being told that they can't talk to you unless they pay money to talk to you. Like, nobody likes this. This is like, why would anybody like this? Even if this is the way that the system works, nobody's going to like this. And it's like, that's fine. And my best advice to this guy is, yeah, do more sponsored streams. Don't try to put that on your audience. Because your audience are the people, like, if you have more viewers, you're going to get paid more by sponsors. So they are paying you, actually. They're just not doing it directly. That's the way these things work. He's been streaming for years as a drug problem, and it is what it is. Well, I don't really care. I mean, like, I don't give a shit how long he's been streaming, like, drug problem or not, whatever. I'm just talking about it in general. This dude made a ton of money streaming, got into meth, and it made him broke. Well, maybe if he stopped shaming people that aren't subscribed, he'd stop being broke. I mean, I don't care about his life story. It doesn't matter. It's still bad. Yeah, it's just a mistake. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Very old school streamer. Yeah, watching Dark Souls a long time ago is great. How people fuck it up. Well, there's a lot of people that fuck up streaming, right? I mean, like, because some people aren't cut out. The thing is with streaming is you're getting exposed to, like, so many people at a time, constantly, every single day, over and over and over. And not only that, but you have people that are constantly trying to, like, pick at you. They're trying to, like, get some reaction from you, trying to cut you down, fuck you over, make you mad, agitate you. And you have this kind of stuff happen every single day. And you don't have, like, the coworker camaraderie that, like, you have at, like, some sort of a store or an office or something like that. So you're just dealing with this personally. And it's easy to see how somebody is going to get up in their head and they're not going to enjoy that. It can be taxing. Yes, it's taxing. Of course. I mean, there's a lot of good things about streaming, but there's not only good things about streaming. There's going to be positives and negatives to everything. Gold bars are great, but they're also really heavy. Do you see kind of what I'm saying? He had some bad takes at times, got too much of an ego and says bad stuff. Yeah, heavy is good. Well, yeah, people don't want to carry around something that's super heavy. That's all I'm really trying to get at. I never get any shit from my chatters. There's been no fucker in there. Problem solved. Yeah, there's nobody in chat. Problem solved. No problem with chatters. Yeah, there you go. That's fair. He's really bad at ignoring the shitters in his chat. Well, it's very hard to do that, especially whenever you don't have, like, a fast chat. Because if your chat is really slow and then you don't have anything else to interact with and you're just seeing these messages on the screen, you're already in a bad headspace, then yeah, of course you're going to think about those negative messages. 100 people shake your hand, one person slaps you in the face. At the end of the day, who are you going to think about? It's common sense. People have, like, a negativity bias with a lot of things. Let me rise vicariously through anyone idolizing them in a bad way. Well, I mean, the thing is that you can say how bad it is to do that, but that's not going to stop people from doing it. People are still going to think to themselves, man, if I was a streamer and I was in his position, I'd have it made, man. Like, this guy complains about this stuff, I'd never complain about this stuff. I'd thank every donator, man. Like, I'd never forget where I came from. Bro, this guy doesn't know how good he has it. And like, yeah, people, every fucking person says that all the time. And then some of those same people turn into the guys that they complain about. Because maybe the world is more complicated than that. But they're naive. And so, of course, they're going to think like that. And you can complain about this all you want. You can talk about this all you want. But at the end of the day, it's not going to go away. And you can say people shouldn't act this way, but they will. Yeah, if I was a streamer, every donator would get a reach around. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think that's a good start. For sure. Grass is not always greener on the other side. I think that being a streamer has a lot of positives. It has some negatives too. I think there's a lot of things like that. Whenever I worked at the IRS, there were some positives and there were some negatives. When I worked at Sam's Club, there were no positives, and so I stopped going. That's about it. I think that's just the way it goes. And if you're not happy with the way that your life is, go change it. Like, change it as much as you can. Like, and if you don't, nobody cares. Like, nobody cares about your sob story about, like, oh, how bad your life is. They're just going to pat you on the back and say, oh, I'm so sorry. And then you're going to go back to living your shitty life. So, yeah, if you want to go do that and complain about your life all the time, then sure, go ahead, be my guest. But nobody cares, and it doesn't matter. So you either fix it or don't. It doesn't matter to anybody else either way. Maybe that's a little bit too mean, but that's the truth. Some people care, homie. I think that, yes, some people do care, but it doesn't really make a difference. Yeah, that's reality. Government work, heck yes. Food on the table, stable, slow upward progress. Yeah, that's about right. My therapist cares? Well, I'm glad that you have somebody that'll listen to you. But having somebody listen to you and tell you that you're right, this is probably not going to solve all of your problems. At one point or another, the reason why your life will change and improve will probably be because you do something that causes that to happen. And that something you can do will either be now or later or never. Doesn't matter to me. I don't give a fuck. But that's just the truth. Let me read a few more and then I'm going to move on. Nobody genuinely gives a fuck if any of these people think they're literally brainwashed. Yeah, I think so too. Therapist is telling you that you're right. They're not a good therapist. I think it's a lot more complicated than that. Sort of watching years ago, you used to think that you were a dick, but you've grown up as a person. No, I'm still a dick. That's not true. Well, sometimes the problems are in your head, confidence and such. Yeah, absolutely. But the world doesn't care if you have a confidence problem. Nobody does. There's maybe a handful of people that, are in your close life that care about you, etc. But the world is not going to form around your confidence problem. Nobody else cares about it because nobody cares about you. So why would they care about your problems? And don't worry, you feel the same way about them too. You don't care about some random person's problem to the extent that it's annoying you or causing you discomfort. You try to get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I mean, it's just as hard truth. Yes. I feel like people live in a fucking fantasy world and then they get mad every single time they get a reality check. Yeah, and like you have this guy, obviously, like, also living in a bit of a fantasy world. Of course, people want to talk to you. What are you doing? Just put on sub mode. What is wrong with you? Why are you crying? Oh my God. How unpleasant. Triggered tweens their false reality. Well, I mean, look. The thing is, to me, if somebody wants to live in a fantasy world where it's the world's fault that they're not successful, it doesn't matter to me. That's fine. Do whatever you want. React to the CIA JFK assassination. I haven't read through that, so I didn't want to look at it yet. People started pulling out their phones instead of helping one another, it became pretty clear. No, it wasn't. People were selling their kids during the Great Depression. People never gave a fuck about each other. They used to lynch each other. What are you talking about? You think cell phones started this? Stop it. Yeah, holy shit. Actually hates everybody in his stream that does not support him. He pretends he doesn't mind the lurkers because it was too heavy to criticize the whole chat. Who gives a fuck? If it's fun to watch, watch it. If it's not, then don't watch it. Like, stop trying to psychoanalyze some random fucking man on the internet. Who cares? What do you think I care about if he likes his chat or not? Is it fun to watch? Yeah, people are assholes. Have been for as long as they've existed. Yeah, that's definitely true, man. People like to think society is so much more civil today, but mankind has always been full of trash. Society is unequivocally more civil today, and it's not even remotely close. Anybody who actually thinks that things were more civil at earlier times in society is so fucking delusional, you are insane. Like, open up a fucking history book. We live in the best time of all history. It's not even remotely close, and it's going to continue getting better. You are luckier now to be alive right now than any other period of time in all of human recorded history before now. That's what it is. Is people saying cell phones started this? The internet started it? Nah, it's just fake. It's like fake woke stuff like, oh, I'm so aware of the problems that technology has caused in our society. Like, you know, these are people that think they've broken free from the Matrix, but they're actually just in a different Matrix. They treat everybody else like NPCs, but they're NPCs in a different game. That's what they are.